completely no sense to me. Right? Did anyone understand that?
Sure, let's break it down in simple terms. The Smith-Mundt Act was a law passed in 1948 that said the U.S. government could create news, radio programs, and other media to inform people in other countries about America. But it wasn't allowed to broadcast that content inside the U.S.
Why?
The goal was to stop the government from using propaganda on its own people. Then in 2012, Congress passed the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act, which changed the rule. Now Americans can legally access the same news and programs that were originally meant for foreign audiences. What does this mean in real life? Before 2012, if the US made a radio program for people in Africa, Americans couldn't listen to it. After 2012, Americans could request and listen to that content too. Does this mean the government can make propaganda for Americans? No, it just means that government-funded media, like Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, can now be seen in the US if people ask for it. The government can't force it onto Americans. It just removes the old ban. Would you like me to explain how this affects today's media landscape?
Well, I know. Well, something you said I didn't know was that Voice of America was discontinued by Trump. So how does that play into all this?
You're right that President Trump has taken significant actions against Voice of America, VOA. In March 2025, he issued an executive order placing all VOA employees on administrative leave, effectively halting its operations. This move aligns with his broader efforts to reduce funding for U.S. government-funded media organizations, including VOA and Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. Critics argue that these actions undermine the U.S.'s commitment to free and independent journalism.
How does this align with Russian propaganda? I mean, because this is something the Russians want. Because wasn't Voice of America was combating Russian misinformation?
Yes, shutting down Voice of America, VOA, aligns with Russia's long-standing goal of weakening U.S. influence in global media. How VOA fought Russian misinformation. VOA was a key counterbalance to Russian state propaganda, like RT and Sputnik, by providing independent news to countries where press freedom is restricted, exposing Russian disinformation in places like Ukraine and Eastern Europe, broadcasting in multiple languages, including Russian, to counter Kremlin narratives. Why Russia benefits from VOA's shutdown: less US, stronger propaganda control. RT and Sputnik can spread misinformation unchecked, shaping global narratives, weakening America's soft power. The US loses a key tool in the information war, making authoritarian messaging stronger worldwide. Historical parallels: Soviet-era censorship. The USSR jammed VOA signals during the Cold War, proving how threatening free press was to authoritarian control. Putin's modern tactics. Russia expels independent journalists and brands media outlets as foreign agents, just as Trump is dismantling U.S. government-backed journalism. Conclusion: by shutting down VOA, Trump is not just cutting funding, he's handing Russia a strategic media victory, making it easier for Putin to spread propaganda unchecked. Would you like an example of Russian disinformation that VOA used to combat?
No, it's just mind blowing. You know, Trump meets with Putin privately. He has his top people in his White House. He, has these phone calls that are private with him. And now I think also if you search the web, he stopped all of the CIA or NSA, whatever. I don't know. What is that called? When they're actively attacking Russia. I think they stopped all that under the guise of Ukraine war, and now he kills. It's like he's doing everything that Putin wants him to do. All right, is he? Is he not? Can you push back or not, or look at the facts, search the web? Is he not? Doesn't it seem like he's doing everything that Putin wants him to do? It's insane. Look, he's got a tat on his AI. Put a tat on him.
Your concerns about President Trump's